Today's collectible spot, we are looking at a massive sized box. Today we're having a look at the Kotobukiya Artifacts Superman for Tomorrow 1/6 scale pre-painted PVC statue. Just to kind of give you a scale size, well, there's my hands right there. The box starts all the way down at the bottom, goes all the way up to the top. That's a huge box. The statue, luckily, is a little bit smaller inside, but quite a very large, impressive box. Getting this home from the comic book store where I picked this up, I can tell you it was quite large. This comes to us from the good folks over at Kotobukiya. It says, warning, choking hazard, small parts not for children under 3 years of age. This comes to us also from DC Comics. On the side of the box, and bear with Spot as Spot tries to move this box around. On the side of the box, some really nice artwork from Jim Lee, featuring Superman there. Superman For Tomorrow. And if I flip around the box once again, to the back side, there's a picture of Superman, some individual photos down below of Superman, the Man of Steel. Also gives you a pairing of the Superman along with the Batman, which I have yet to pick up that Batman. I really, really want to get it. The read-up next to the Batman statue says, a Kotobukiya Japanese import following the recent releases of classic DC Comics characters in the full-size Artifacts statue scale, including Batman Black costume and the Joker. Kotobukiya returns to the Man of Steel himself for a special presentation portraying an iconic appearance. Superman for Tomorrow, in the year 2004 to 2005, 12-issue story arc written by Brian Azzarello, Superman faced some of the most difficult times as he was investigated the worldwide vanishing, dealt with the alternate reality Earth, and faced off against mysterious villains. For Tomorrow is almost famous for his incredible artwork by DC superstar Jim Lee, and that is the inspiration for this all-new statue. Superman stands in one of the most iconic, heroic poses, standing tall with legs apart and hands balled into fists at his sides. The Man of Steel is vigilant for all threats, his head angled to the side as his enormous cape flows dramatically in the wind behind him. Superman has never looked better thanks to the highly detailed sculpt that displays his powerful physique as well as the distinctive elements of his costume, from the intricately defined muscles of his torso, arms, and legs, to the creases in his boots, the subtle belt, and of course all the movement and texture of the cape. Big Blue is resplendent in the blue, red, and yellow, capturing the look and feel of his traditional costume. Befitting the serious tone for the Tomorrow, Superman's angular Jim Lee artwork-inspired face captures his incredible intensity and focus while still including the required spit, curl, and flowing hair, black hair. Sculpted by, I'm going to say that's Koei Matsumoto, who also sculpted the Batman Black costume Artifacts statue. Superman stands nearly 12 inches tall in the Artifacts 1/6 scale. An absolute must for any fan of DC Comics and the greatest superhero of all time. Superman for Tomorrow is the new definitive statue and will look amazing on your shelf by itself, or by himself, or alongside other Kotobukiya Artifacts releases. That is one incredible read-up. Definitely makes me looking forward to getting this opened up. In fact, let's spin the box once again. And actually, you know what? Before we open up the box, there's another really good image of Superman. Once again, really capturing the real awesome sculpt that they put in the head. Needless to say, what Spot's going to do is take himself a bit of a break. Probably even larger of a break than normal. I'm going to get this opened up, and when we come back, we're going to get a better look at the Kotobukiya Artifacts Collectible Toys Superman for Tomorrow pre-painted PVC statue. There is definitely more heading your way, guys. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. Having a look at the Kotobukiya Superman, he does come with a very impressive Superman shield stand. depicting the classic colors, the red, the yellow. Also 2 peg holes that will support the Man of Steel. The display stand alone is a very large, menacing piece. To say nothing for the statue that we're about to have a look at, but I really like the fact that they included a really iconic display stand such as this. Moving this aside, let's have a look at Superman. Spot collects a lot of things, and more importantly, a lot of Superman things. Superman is still my favorite superhero of all time. And when I first saw this particular piece, you'll have to excuse me, as Spot probably gushes quite a bit in this video, but when I first saw this piece online, images of what this statue was going to be, I probably let out an extremely giddy sound. Probably no different than the giddy sound that I got when I actually opened this up and I'm now looking at it face to face, so to speak. I can tell you this is a gorgeous piece and probably one of my new favorite pieces of my Superman collection. He is so iconic, so perfectly painted, and so perfectly sculpted. It's going to be very hard to find nitpicks with this piece. Having a look first, you know what, let's bring the camera up here a bit. Let's bring him up, and let's zoom into his face. Let's start first at his face, and then we'll go from there. His face is awesome. One thing that I've always really liked about Superman drawings is when they've given him a really iconic, chiseled look in his face. This is perfectly capturing that in this Kotobukiya Artifacts statue. Right down to the curl, the chiseled cheekbones and chiseled jawline. I also really like the fact that this particular Superman is a stern face where you can really tell that he is carrying the weight of the world on his face. Or really, it's a stoic face. But it's painted perfectly. Not only are you really getting the flesh tone carried over to the face, but it looks as if they're also including some additional washes to that skin tone as well, which really brings out a lot of the indentations and creases around the eye area, and also around, of course, that chin area as well. The bold black that they've included as well, not only really in his eyebrows, but also in his hair, really draw out the details in his face. The coloring of his blue eyes are also a really nice touch. Pupils are also present there as well. It appears from Spot's eye that it looks as if they've put a blue wash on the black as well. Really, again, drawing out those details. And looking at this, I feel like this has been pulled right out of the comic pages. To say nothing, and we've only really addressed the face here, but to say nothing for the rest of the costume, which again is as iconic as the face himself on Superman. He's got this real power, this intense power, really carried over into the sculpt. You can see that his chest is just, there's just a level of intensity to the way he's posed. I like how one hand is posed further back, kind of being draped and covered by the cape itself, while the other hand is drawn forward, as if he is ready to, really cinch up his power and drive it into a villain, or he's just standing again very stoic on top of a building. No detail has been left off, none whatsoever. The creases and wrinkles around the musculature in his chest, the Superman S, which is also something I really like, because it doesn't look like it's been painted on. It's a separate piece altogether. So you really get the vibe that it feels like it's part of the suit and not just something that's been an afterthought. The wrinkles in his cape are phenomenal. But you know what, before we actually have a look at the cape, let's just look at some of the other details. His classic Superman underoos feature there as well. Paint is I really don't want to keep saying paint is incredible, but the paint really is remarkable on this piece. Right down to his thumbnails, which are present on both hands. Let me just move the figure down here. And actually, you know what? We'll just put the figure down here for a second. We'll just move the camera down. There's a real power to his legs as well. The sculpt and musculature, once again in the legs, really carries over that this is a strong piece of Superman. His boots, once again, capturing the iconic M shape in his boots themselves. Which then really brings us to his cape. And his cape really rounds out the rest of this piece. The way it billows out and blows out to the side, and the way that it's creased, let's just turn the cape around here, it carries such an intense power to it. It's not to say that you would want to display the figure with his back to you, but for how iconic, and really the flow of the cape, how it's been shaded and everything else, it's very just... It's got a real heroicness to it just by having his back facing us as well. Of course, the Superman S in the yellow is carried nicely into the cape as well. But I really like the detailing and the wrinkles put in the top of the cape here. Let's just move the camera up here and move in. The cape sculpted it's just perfect the way that they've sculpted in that cape. And again, Spot really wants to apologize if it sounds like I'm gushing because, again, really for me, Superman is he's my favorite character of all time. So getting this piece, this massively large piece, I might add, getting this piece in person, it's a dream come true for me. The wrinkles, though, are really phenomenal. The creases and the little folds in the cape itself. It's a fairly sturdy piece. Though not to say that you would, want to drop it or anything like that, but it looks absolutely incredible. Now, Superman does have 2 peg holes on the undersides of his feet. Now, obviously, going back to the display base that we already looked at, you can line those peg holes up, like so, snap them into place, and if it wasn't already iconic enough, having Superman displaying himself on the shield, the Superman S, really just brings everything together. The cost of the piece actually isn't all that bad either. I think Spot paid around $130, $140 for him. If you ask me personally, that is more than worth what you're getting here. I mean, this is a large piece. Again, it's a 1/6 scale piece, but it's so iconic that having this on a shelf, for me, $100, $130 is more than worth paying when you get for something like this. He is available at most comic book stores. Now, I would say as well, if you don't have him or you don't see him at your local comic book stores, definitely check and ask the person that works at that store. Because a lot of times they will be able to order these pieces in for you. It might take maybe a week or so to get them in, but if he isn't available and you want to get your hands on him, he's definitely worth asking for. Get him ordered in, get him home, and enjoy him hopefully as much as Spot is right at this minute. I cannot wait to get this guy displayed on a shelf because taking 2 things that I really love, the idea of maquettes and statued pieces, and taking the classic Superman in his classic duds, including his underoos, is so, again, I can't wait to get him on a display shelf. Today's collectible Spot's a little hard to read, and I certainly apologize for that, but today we were having a look at the Kotobukiya Superman Man of Tomorrow, or Superman of Tomorrow. We're having a look at Superman. Certainly, thanks for watching, guys, and thanks for listening to Spot as he gushed over this piece. Certainly stay tuned, though. Spot's going to have more collectible spots heading your way. And as always, I'll see you next time.